Is the UK government deliberately trying to kill small businesses? Because right now, if you're running a business in Britain, it certainly feels that way. Higher taxes, endless red tape, and an economy stacked against entrepreneurs, it's becoming harder than ever to survive, let alone grow. Think about it. Why is it that places like Dubai, Portugal, or even Spain get to keep more of their profits whilst here in the UK we're squeezed at every turn? Is this just bad policy? Or is there actually a deeper agenda? My name's Richard Dixon. I've built 2 7-figure businesses here in Scotland and the United Kingdom, and this is my take on the war on UK businesses. The tax hikes, the crushing bureaucracy, and the ways that Britain is making it impossible for entrepreneurs to succeed. And stick around, because I'll actually show you how businesses in places like Dubai are playing by an entirely different set of rules. Rules that actually allow them to grow. So let's start with the tax trap, because this is where UK business owners are being bled dry. Corporation tax in the UK was 19%, which is pretty reasonable. Well, now it's 25% for businesses making over £250,000 per year in profit. And here's the worst bit. If you're in the middle, making between 50,000 and 250,000, you're caught in this weird tax trap where your effective rate is actually higher than 25% because of marginal relief. But wait, it actually gets worse. On top of corporation tax, you've got employer national insurance, which means that if you want to hire staff, you're hit with an extra 15% tax on top of their salary. Then there's VAT, which at 20% kills margins and forces many small businesses to either raise their prices or completely lose out. So if you're like me and you're running a business in the UK, by the time you pay your corporation tax, employer national insurance and VAT, you're basically just working for HMRC. It's like running a business, but the government is actually your biggest shareholder, and guess what? They didn't even invest in the growth of the business. Let's say you've accepted that the government is taking a huge cut of your earnings. You still have to deal with the absolute nightmare that is UK business regulations. We call this red tape hell. Making Tax Digital is an online portal that forces small businesses into expensive accounting software. GDPR regulations mean that you need to jump through all these legal loopholes just to send an email, and don't even get me started on the changes in employment laws. Look at it this way for a second. If you want to grow, you need to hire, but hiring means more payroll admin, pensions, workplace compliance, holiday pay, sick pay, redundancy costs. Suddenly you're actually a full-time administrator instead of actually being a business owner. Oh, but just remember, the government says that they're supporting small businesses. What does that actually even mean? Let's talk about that next. If you look at countries like the United States, for example, they offer small businesses low-interest loans, grants, and actual tax incentives. Here in the UK, not so much. If you try applying for a government grant, you'll quickly realise that they're either impossible to qualify for, or they're only available to some stupid niche sector, like green energy startups making vegan AI-powered solar panels. Meanwhile, if you actually need to get funding, good luck even getting a bank loan without putting your house on the line. And don't even think about actually asking the government for help during a financial crisis. Just ask any business owner that tried to claim any type of compensation after the pandemic. So we've probably been able to establish that running a business here in the UK is financial and bureaucratic hell. But how does it actually compare to other countries? Let's take £1 million profit as a round number and compare it. In the UK, after corporation tax and employer national insurance, your total bill is almost £400,000. In Portugal, it's around half of that. Most of it is due to social security costs. But in Dubai, for example, it's just £82,000. That's 80% of the difference in comparison to the UK. In Dubai, there's no employer social security tax for expats, and corporation tax is just 9% on profits over 80,000. That means that you as a business owner get to reinvest more, hire more, and grow faster. To me, it's no surprise that so many business owners are relocating to the Middle East. Of course, there's many people out there in the world that think if you own a business, you just must be rolling in cash, dodging taxes, and exploiting workers whilst laughing maniacally in your private yacht.
Swimming in it! Dive around in it like a porpoise.
Let me just set that record straight for a moment. Most business owners aren't flying in private jets. They're working 70 hours per week, taking home less than the majority of their employees, and stressing about tax bills whilst HMRC breathes down their neck. But according to some people, if you're self-employed or run a company, you're just a greedy capitalist hoarding wealth. Meanwhile, the government, who literally takes 50% plus of everything that you make, is somehow on their side. I think someone needs to make this make sense. I don't think it takes a genius to understand that the rapid increases in tax, which is making some of the wealthiest and even not the wealthiest in the UK, the most intelligent, the biggest innovators leaving, going to countries like Dubai and to the United States just to be able to operate and run a business, is not going to benefit the British people and the British tax system. And here is the best part altogether. When business owners struggle under these insane taxes and close their doors, who do these people blame? Capitalism. Not the government that crushed them with regulations. No, of course not. Like, that part doesn't count. It was totally fair. Can we just be real for 1 second? Business owners are not the bad guys here. They're the ones creating jobs, driving the economy, and taking all of the risk. If anything, they should be the ones getting support, not treated like walking ATMs for the country. But hey, what do I know? I'm just a business owner trying to keep a roof over my head whilst paying half of my earnings to a government that gives me literally nothing in return. Now, it would be unfair for me to forget all of the other amazing benefits of doing business here in the UK, because it's not just the taxes and red tape that make this country such a fantastic place to be an entrepreneur. First up, we've got our National Health Service, where you can pay national insurance for decades and still wait 6 months or more to see a specialist. But, I mean, at least it's free, right? Then we have got a fantastic immigration system that totally makes a lot of sense. Let's make sure we have infinite red tape for skilled workers and legitimate business owners trying to move here. But you know, let's just keep the back door wide open for literally anyone else. Fantastic. And of course, the great British police system. Your car gets stolen? Awesome. Here is your crime reference number. Best of luck. But if you post a slightly mean tweet, full investigation, prison time. Yeah, amazing priorities, UK. But the last pillar of hope, the thriving British high street. Oh, wait a second. That's just empty shops, pound stores and vape shops, because everything else has been taxed or regulated out of existence. Honestly, between the taxes, bureaucracy and general chaos, it's amazing that anyone even bothers trying to run a business in the UK anymore. So what's the actual solution if you're a UK business owner? Well, in my opinion, you have 3 options. You either try to play the game smarter, you look at relocation, or you find ways to legally reduce your tax burden. If you're staying in the UK, work with a proper tax accountant and tax strategist. Explore tax efficient salary structures and consider some VAT optimised pricing. If you're open to moving, Portugal, Spain, Dubai and many other countries have way better incentives and better weather too, especially if you're running an online or service-based business. The bottom line for me is that running a business in the UK feels like an uphill battle 99% of the time. But the smartest entrepreneurs always find a way to win, whether that's within the system or beyond it. If you've got value from this video, I would love for you to click the like button down below, drop a comment and let me know. Do you still think that the UK is a good place to do business, or is it time to look elsewhere? You can also click subscribe for more business content, and I'll see you in the next one.